Okay, we're recording.
All right. Well, my name is Bill Kashevsky, and I sold this diner to a gentleman by the name of Gordon. I'm going to guess back around 1998, I think, somewhere in that time frame. And Gordon paid cash money for it, $5,000 back then.
Mm-hmm.
And he came with a big flatbed, and they disconnected everything and picked it up and took it away. And now here it sits in Towanda.
And who's this nice pretty lady here?
My lovely wife, Marjorie.
Hi, Marjorie.
Who endured the ride here to Towanda.
And you came from?
We came from Stroudsburg today, especially to...
and that's where you live, or?
Yep, we live in Stroudsburg.
And that's where this diner's from?
And this diner is, as far as I know, originally from Stroudsburg, but I think it may have been somewhere else prior to that.
Okay.
And he still owns the property that this was on.
Really?
No, I don't own the property anymore. I sold the...
What was it on? Was there a foundation or something there?
It was on a foundation, yep. And it had been in Stroudsburg for many, many years, way before I got there.
Right.
It was actually one of the original diners on Route 611 in Stroudsburg back in the day. And from what I understood, the original family or the original gentleman that owned it, he also built a house next to it, which still exists, and he operated the diner, and he also lived next door in a two-story brick house that he built on Route 611 in Stroudsburg.
Okay, now, I went with Gordon. He went up to the Poconos someplace to get some extra parts for this place, or?
Gordon probably scrounged around a lot of different places for parts.
So the previous guy who ran this, you think he had a place up in the Poconos?
B-Secker's Diner he's still in business, actually.
Okay.
The B-Secker Diner is over in Stroudsburg, but at a different location.
All right.
And at one point in time, the B-Secker family owned this diner.
Okay.
And I believe he did have some parts and some pieces of this diner which Gordon may have tracked down.
Yeah, he actually had sand castings made. Went up to Elmira and he found a place that actually did sand castings. So he took the originals and made more bench seats on it.
Right.
And a lady came here who used to go to Jerry's, and she's looking around. She says, "I've been here before. I've been here before. I've been here before." And she says, "Was this in Stroudsburg or something?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah." She says, "I used to go there."
Yeah.
So it was like deja vu, you know.
Well, this was one of the only places to eat back in the early 1900s in that area. So it has quite a history, and it's pretty interesting to see it sitting here, in Towanda.
Yeah.
And
well, thanks to you, because like I said, as far as I'm concerned, this is the epicenter of the entire.
The pinnacle.
It is. And people come in, contractors meet, and a lot of business goes down here, good business, and so we're restoring to previous people. Kind of let it go. We got the ceilings all clean, and we're going to try to make it a real showcase.
I got to tell you, compared to what it looked like when I sold it, it's amazing.
Yeah, he put a lot of stuff. Even I don't know if this was there before, but you see these original Tierney refrigerator sticker on that refrigerator, and the compressors are downstairs, so it's the old unit, but with new units downstairs.
With new compressors, but I'm telling you, a lot of TLC went back into this again to get it back to where it was.
We'll give you a tour of the facilities, at least downstairs. Upstairs is a wreck, but we'll see what this thing's built on, a real fortification.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to thank you so very much. Thank you for coming up in this cold day and cheering us up. Thank you.
You're on.
So,
This is Carol. What's it, Casa something?
Hussa.
Hussa. H-U-S-S-A. Okay, and you're from Wilkes-Barre.
Yes.
And you saw this thing on Channel 16 or something? No, your son did.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it too. And you came up and you're giving me a whole bunch of information on this diner that I had no idea, as far as the 1927 menu up there.
Yeah, that's
which
original.
I've been lying to people about.
No, that's original. Well, it's original because we copied. We had a photograph of an old Tierney diner.
Okay.
Or any old diner. And these were the menu boards.
Okay, now you realize what we do now. People really give us a hard time for that.
Right, because...
And I said, all you got to do is come up with 1927 coinage. And if we have it, you got it for that price.
Right.
And it works out pretty good for us. No one's ever taken us up on it.
So how about lamb's tongues?
You know, I tell people that's it was so disturbing when I got the first lamb tongue out that I couldn't do it again. Oh, God. I want to think about it.
Yeah.
All right, so...
And I always want to know what Scotch ham is. Like, what is that?
I don't know, but let's get back to the fact that your first time you ran into Gordon.
All right, the first time I ran into Gordon, when I met Gordon, it was in 1998, and he was working with a crew of Amish people who had been hired to move the Joe Palooka Diner out of Wilkes-Barre to Germantown, Pennsylvania. So my son was a little boy, he was in daycare or preschool, and they are having a half a day. So I said, you know, my MO was to take the same time off as him. We went a different way by accident that morning, and we got behind a big flatbed trailer that then pulled into where Joe Palooka's diner was. So I said, hey, Everett, looks like they're going to pull that diner out today, so when I pick you up from school, we'll go and watch them. So dropped him off at school, went home, made a little picnic, picked up Everett from school, and we drove back to where the diner was, and sure enough, the flatbed was there, and all the Amish guys are all crawling around the Joe Palooka's diner, and they have big straps and a crane, and so they started at the crane, picked up the diner, and this man came running across the street who wasn't Amish. He was a regular guy. And we're all taking pictures, Everett's all excited, and I said to this man, I said, wow, this is something you don't see every day. And Gordon says, well, I do. And started to explain to me that he knows a lot about diners, he owned a diner, blah, 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 the story goes on. But I said to him, I said, I bet you, I know a diner that you don't know anything about. Little did I know that, you know, Gordon was the expert in every diner ever built. So he asked me about this diner. So I said, well, my father used to drive a coal truck between Pittston and New Jersey. And he would stop here at this diner in Stroudsburg, this old diner. And when I was in college, he would pick me up from, you know, college on holidays, and we would always stop in what was then Jerry's diner. But it was all kind of crummy and nasty. And so, but it was like my father's thing, and that's where we would do. So anyway, I'm telling Gordon this story, and he says to me, well, what do you think happened to that diner? Little do I know, he has the diner.
Wow.
And what are the chances of that? You know, 1 in a zillion. I mean, really, what is the
Well, if you didn't have a personality of being inquisitive, none of this would have happened in the first place.
Right. So, you know, we finished up our chat. He told me that he had the Red Rose. Well, it wasn't even called the Red Rose then. He was calling it the Lackawanna Trail because that was the original name. So, because it was on the Lackawanna Trail with 611. So, they take the diner away, you know, put it on the flatbread, and that's how it, you know, da-da-da. So the next day, there was a picture in the newspaper, and I thought, well, this guy might enjoy this picture and this article from the paper. So I cut it out, and then I'm thinking, how am I going to get this to him? So I called the phone number that was on the truck of the
You're an investigator.
well, my mother. So I called the number on the truck and asked him who pulled the permit for that job. And so they gave me the name, and I don't know if it's Gordon's name or the Amish guys that worked there. But anyway, so I cut the picture out, the article out, wrote a little note, and put it in the mail to the phone number address that the permit had. So a couple months later comes a letter from Gordon thanking me for the article, the picture, the note, and wouldn't I like to
Thanks for stopping.
and visit and see the diner, you know, in person. So that was the beginning of a 5-year romance.
Well, hold there.
So the menu boards. The menu boards are, they're not original, but they're original menu items that would have been in.
You mean I lied to all these people for all these years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had a postcard or a photograph of what a menu board would have looked like in 1927 or 28. with the prices, and we made the menu boards. And that's all original. That's what, if you had tomato soup in 1927, it would
Well, I'm
be
going
a
to spin
nickel.
this around. Hold on. Let's see. So they can
And the
actually.
menu boards.
Ta-da, there's the menu boards.
Yep. You got that chicken pot pie for 25 cents, liver and onions, 30 cents. Hamburgers.
I think I told you that.
quarter.
Anybody asks about that, they try to shake us down for those kind of prices. They said, you come up with 1927 coinage, and we'll do something. Well, we do eat the one. Every Wednesday, Betty makes donuts for nothing.
Oh, okay.
So we say we meet the 2 for 5 cent price.
Right.
Okay, I interrupt you. I'm sorry. So you put that all together.
Right, but that's after, we had the spot here. The way we found this spot was we were coming back from Corning, New York, where he had originally thought he had found the perfect spot. It was at the end of the main street in Corning, had a great building that he could have attached the diner to. So we were on our way back from Corning, New York that night. We got into town here, and the movie theater was just letting out. And so Gordon was all excited about the movie theater. We parked the car, and he was standing and paying attention to the crowd and the movie theater letting out. And I'm in the car looking at this empty lot across the street from the movie theater. So when the location in Corning, New York fell through, this was the spot. That's how it happened.
Now, originally it was down in Lancaster we tried getting it to Lancaster.
He moved it from Stroudsburg to Lancaster, hence the name Red Rose Diner, because Lancaster is the Red Rose City.
Even the police have
York
red
is the
roses
White
on them.
Rose City. Yeah, so that's hence the name Red Rose Diner. The
Now, the
original
gentleman
name.
who sold it to him, he said he paid $5,000 cash.
Yes, these
Okay.
diners came fully equipped with plates, the whole 9 yards, menus. You bought one of these diners, and you could park it somewhere and start your business. And there were a lot of men who were coming out of World War II who had gotten trained as cooks in the Army and the Navy. So it was a perfect way for them to make a living after coming out of the service. And it was right when, America was in love with their cars. My father's first car was a 1914 something. Anyway, so highways, cars, people had free time, and this was a great way to get
Well, when
set up.
he got it though, it was a standalone unit. It didn't have
Right.
it didn't have any outbuildings
No,
and all
no,
that.
no.
So whoever ran that they were
Just-
stuck with
this was it.
refrigeration here and that.
And this refrigerator's original. Gordon took the whole thing apart, got it all cleaned up, made it work. The bathroom, the phone. Spent a lot of time.
You didn't see the rose on the toilet back
I
there.
haven't
They
seen
never
the rose
did
in the
see that.
toilet. That's not original. That's not original.
original, but we did the best we could on that.
Gordon will not have anything that was not original.
I know.
Those cigarette boxes back there, half of them we found in an antique store in Pittston.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, I was
And they
wondering
had to
what
be a
they-
certain size because the cigarettes in those days were shorter
Okay.
and not as long as the cigarettes.
I kind of thought that Mike Holt might have gotten that, but
Nope,
that
that's
was
a Gordon
that was a
thing.
Gordon original.
Yep. As the Red Rose Diner sign.
By the way, we spin that backwards because always anytime there's no starter in that, right?
Right.
So anytime the electricity goes off, for a split second stop.
Uh-huh.
So we're not going to take time to reset the time. And then people say, your clock's not on time. So now we have to go backwards. We say it's a time machine, and they don't give us a hard time on the.
Well, this is like a time machine.
It isn't.
This is like going back in history.
And I think I told you, the guy who sold to him, he's on YouTube, and he said that Gordon asked him about it. He asked Gordon, what do you think it's worth? He said he was sold to him for $500. That's what first agrees to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because he needs that money, and I think that's something to do with why he couldn't bring it to Lancaster.
Right. Well, there's all kinds of every place. We looked at a place in Carlisle, Lancaster, lots of different places, and there are so many ordinances and municipality things that it was hard to find. We had a beautiful spot picked out in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
That's a nice
But the city it was beautiful. It wasn't near a movie theater, but it was near a bus station.
Well, that's even better in a sense.
Yeah, and it would have been a great spot, but the city, and all their planning and whatnot.
What?
Yeah. No, John, it's okay.
What?
John.
No, he's saying the food is, but We're giving a big...
Oh, okay. Then,
He
have
said,
at it.
what was the term? Now he's gonna go get a job to pay for the, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the last meal.
So it was a lot of fun, roaming around, looking for spots, acquiring stuff, making menu boards.
And these are, do you recall seeing these actually?
They were different stools.
Yeah, because in the
They were
picture over there,
green
they had the
and they-
strings. They were stainless steel. It was like Art Deco.
Right,
going
and
around.
they were square on the bottom, but I don't think he had enough of them.
Okay.
So
But the
It's-
place was, everything was painted white in it. He had to strip all that
Mhm.
stuff. It's
Everything.
amazing he's still alive after dealing with all, or you're still alive, after stripping all this wood.
oh yeah, yeah, lovingly.
And that's kind of how I got entrapped in this thing, because it was in bad shape when I got it. We put all new air conditioners in.
Yep.
We had to do a lot of infrastructure. They had the washer and dryer upstairs. We brought that downstairs. So we did a lot of halfway decent stuff here.
So I hope somebody buys it and keeps it alive.
Well, that's good. I want to thank you so very much for sharing this, because it's important.
It's part of our history.
Right. Is there anything else you want to say?
Hi, Gordon.
Gordy.
Gordy.
Okay. Thanks again. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay, here we are at the Red Rose Diner in the back area here, and we have some guests that will introduce themselves and tell a story that's almost unbelievable, and it refers to Gordon Tyndall, the person who actually brought this diner to Towanda from Stroudsburg via Lancaster. And so, and I did. Yeah, we're all right. We're filming. Okay, you want to introduce yourself, say who you are, and how you first met Gordon Tyndall.
My name is Wendy Robinson.
And I'm Bob Burton.
And where are you guys from?
We're from Corvallis, Oregon.
Wow. Okay, I've heard of the name.
We have friends that we met in Guatemala that live in Lanesboro, Minnesota, and so we visited them and camped in the city park there, and they encouraged us to go to the diner, so we did that, and there we met Gordon Tyndall.
Was his wife Val there, or Valerie, or?
Yes, we met Valerie too. We met them at an art opening.
Okay.
Oh yes, that's right, before we ever got to the diner. Then we heard the story that this was not his first diner, but he had set this one up in Lanesboro after establishing a diner, or rehabbing, I guess, and revitalizing a diner in Towanda, Pennsylvania. Well, it turns out that's very close to where we have family.
Mm-hmm.
So we determined we had to come visit Towanda.
And we knew where Towanda was, which was sort of what was unusual for him too, because most people in middle of Minnesota do not know where Towanda, Pennsylvania is either. So.
But he's a remarkable man, and he also had one in Decorah that he sold. It's in Paris now. It was a stainless steel one that he had, and they put it up on a boat, and he saw the moving of it, and he was building the other one that you were in down near the airport. One of our customers, Rob Hartman, allowed him to keep this monstrosity. It was waving in the wind. I mean, this thing was really in bad shape. And just through sheer determination, he put that thing together and screwed it all together with plywood and everything else. And just an amazing man. I'm glad you got a chance to see the operation up there. So I understand they're into she's into theatrics, and once a year I think they close the place, and they have a raffle or something, and people pay money. And what they do is they buy the place for the night, and he gives dinner for $800, and it goes towards their organization.
So is it now open?
Yeah, well, definitely open.
Oh, because when we were there, he was still fighting with all of.
Oh, really?
With all of this was probably about
the state of Minnesota
6 or 7 years ago, and he was fighting because he hadn't gotten the proper permits, and he was wanting to stay true to the original design inside, and he was putting in old kinds of appliances and stuff, and they didn't like the fire suppression system or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
Well, he's going by grandfather. He always mentions the grandfathering in this inn, and because these things, what they're doing is preserving. It's like a museum. We look at ourselves as a lighthouse keeper here, you know. So,
right.
So you haven't? Have you been on the? You guys are on the internet, I assume, to some extent.
Yes.
If you have an email address.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
If you leave your email address, what I will do, I'll send you links to their place, and you can see actually what they're doing there, and they're up and running and really having a wonderful time, and there's several newspaper references to the good deeds that they're doing there. But to have you come all the way back here and visit this is like a full circle completed. It's just a wonderful thing, and I will definitely, if you want to say hello to them again.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello. It was great talking to you that one night.
Hello, Gordon.
Okay, well, thank you so much for stopping by the Red Rose, and hopefully we'll see you again. Thank you.
Absolutely. We
Righto.
stopped